Hey, what's up, everyone? Well, I figured since I did a top 20, I believe, a couple of years ago on the best Simpsons episodes, or at least the ones I think are the best, figured I might as well do another list on another show that I've obviously been a fan of for many years, and pretty much since the dawn of its premiere, of the first season, I should say, South Park. Yeah, South Park, of course, is obviously probably worse than The Simpsons when it comes to adult humor, but, well, I think most of us adults can pretty much take most of the humor and pop culture parody and references that the show has, because, well, it's just as amusing and funny and inappropriately disturbing, but, as I said, hilarious as ever. Hell, I even enjoyed the video game Stick of Truth after all the crappy games that we got on N64, PS1, and Dreamcast, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about the 10, count them 10, episodes that I think are the best. Now, keep in mind, of course, anybody's got their own opinion on which episodes they think are the best, but this is my list, so don't go apeshit if you don't agree with me. Refrain from leaving negative comments on this list. This is my list, as I said, so yes, I'll be counting holiday specials, or I should say 1 or 2 to be exact, but no, I won't be counting the movie, since, well, that's its own thing. So, here we go, number 10, Elementary School Musical. Yes, to keep it short, to be to the point, it's obviously, about High School Musical series, that big popular movie series that even I wasn't even a fan of to begin with, and of course the main characters, Kyle, Stan, and Kenny, and Cartman, question why it's become so popular and so forth, and, well, I can't say that I blame them. And it works for the most part, so, yeah, it's pretty funny, you should check it out. Number 9, Guitar Queero. I don't know why they call it that, but otherwise, yeah, it's just as you'd expect. The boys get big on Guitar Hero, and of course, Stan and Kyle become really good at it, and of course, Stan is entered in the competition, and of course, when he's entered in to, obviously, since it's high score, and it's being monitored and all that stuff, and it's funny how his dad looks at, Stan's dad to be exact, watches the kids play Guitar Hero, and he's like, oh, you like that kind of music? And he's like, yeah, he gets his real guitar out and starts playing, and the kids are not interested, and then he tries to play the Guitar Hero game, and he sucks at it. So, what makes it funny is that, and then of course, because Kyle is obviously taken away from Stan because he thinks he's a distraction to Stan when some other famous guy's, rich kid is big on Guitar Hero, and he's obviously a prodigy at it, and then Stan obviously gets hooked on, another game which is supposed to be a parody of it called Heroin Hero, and he obviously it looks like a drug addict child. So Kyle, on the other hand, is trying to look for anywhere to play Guitar Hero, since obviously he doesn't have the game, so he plays it in an arcade, and he's still a prodigy at the game. So I shouldn't really spoil too much. Just watch the episode. It's funny and pretty much as amusing as you'd expect. Number 8, Trapped in the Closet. Now, okay, a lot of these episodes are controversial, and this one is no exception either. As you'd expect, Stan, of course, is trying to save up for a bike, and instead he gets lured into the whole world of Scientology and starts questioning it, but then they realize he's the reincarnation of some Scientology discoverer, L. Ron Howard or some crap. So, yeah, and of course, a whole bunch of celebrities who are big Scientologists get involved in this episode, or I should say, not voiced by them, of course. So, obviously, the criticism came from Tom Cruise himself, which I don't blame him. Obviously, he wasn't voiced by him. He's in his room, and he goes in and locks himself in the closet after Stan admits that he didn't like his movies, and he's all, broken up about it. And, well, and then it's all about the Scientology thing, whether it's a scandal or not. So I could see why this episode was controversial with Tom Cruise and all the other Scientology people, worshippers, and so forth. So I shouldn't really explain much. As I said, just go and watch it if you can find it. Obviously, I'm sure it's been on TV a lot since it was taken down years ago, but brought back up. And it's funny how all the end credits are covered up to, I guess, avoid criticism and controversy. So it's pretty funny, though. Go check it out. Number 7, Leigh, Petites, Tourettes. I don't know why they chose to write this in French, but bottom line, it's about Tourette's, or I should say Cartman realizes that he can get away with swearing all the time, being that he sees a child that can't help it since he has Tourette's, and he fakes it, and Kyle's the only one who realizes that he fakes it, while everyone else believes him. Okay, I know this is controversial, and, well, and I know some people, obviously, who suffer this disorder, and including yours truly. had this disorder for, a lot of years, and I can understand. It's tough to really, and it's painful for people to suffer through this disorder, and I could definitely see that this episode pretty much mocks it, but in a way, it works for the most part. So, I shouldn't really explain a lot. As I said, just go watch it for yourself. If you don't like the idea of mocking this disorder, then I respect that, because, well, after all, I took it. Number 6, Casa Bonita. Okay, this one I thought was really good. This one's about Kyle. He has a birthday party at this, what most kids call like an indoor Disneyland paradise in Colorado. It's some kind of Mexican place with a lot of fun and stuff, and divers and Mexican food and so forth. Bottom line, Kyle's throwing a birthday party there, and of course he's allowed to invite 3 free friends. And of course Cartman's broken up after he realizes that he's not invited because, of course, as you know, he keeps mocking Kyle for, well, you know what I mean. I shouldn't really explain much, but bottom line, he thinks he's an asshole, which he pretty much is if you've seen past episodes before this one. And he wants to come along, but tries to earn his friendship after he realizes that he's inviting Butters instead. So he tricks Butters, of course, into thinking that it's the end of the world coming, and he tries to keep him locked in the bomb shelter. And, well, I shouldn't really explain much. It's funny. Just go watch it, especially towards the end of it. It's hilarious. Number 5, Passion of the Jew. Yet another controversial episode, and I can see why. This one revolves around, of course, it's a play on word of the Passion of the Christ movie. Cartman obviously is worshipping Mel Gibson after the depiction of the Jews in this movie. Meanwhile, he's trying to convince Kyle to go see it, and he finally does, and he's like, wow, I can't believe they were like that to Jesus. And it's funny how this movie is pretty relevant to real life because, well, a lot of people were offended by it. I mean, pretty much any religious movie, you can't please everybody, and this movie pretty much does all that. Meanwhile, Stan and Kenny go to the movie and see it for themselves and think it sucks, on the other hand, thinking it's a snub movie. And they try to go get their money back all the way to Mel Gibson's house, and I don't understand why they only take $10 back when really they could have just taken pretty much every single dollar from him when they had the chance. I mean, Christ, if you went to some rich celebrity's house that made a lot of money from one movie, then you think you would have taken as much money as you possibly could? And they understand the moral behind it. They think if something sucks, you should get your money back for it. And they realize what a complete wacko is, which, in my opinion, is pretty relevant to real life. I mean, didn't he pretty much lose it and go all out against these kind of people? I mean, Christ. It's funny, it's weird, it's disturbing, but it's amusing as ever. So, if you don't like it because of all the controversial aspects and, trying to be relevant to real life, then I respect that. That's pretty much what this show does, and it's pretty much shows that this show is not afraid to get into controversial topics, but I find it amusing. Number 4, Mr. Hankey, or I should say, the first Christmas special. Yes, I know I already included this in my best Christmas special list, but I still think this episode is amusing as ever, and as I said, I'm including holiday specials, and this is the only one, I swear, but I like this one because, as I said in the best Christmas special list, it's really relevant to real life. I mean, they're trying to put on a Christmas play about the birth of Jesus. After all, isn't that what Christmas is all about, the true meaning of it? And, of course, Kyle's mom comes in and criticizes it because they're obviously not Christian, they are Jewish, and orders everybody to take every Christmas decoration down and ban pretty much everything that's all Christmas related. And then she gets criticized and pretty much shows her true color of what kind of person she really is. And, of course, Kyle, of course, you're introduced to Mr. Hankey the Christmas Pooh. It's not his first... it's his first but not last time that you would see him. And, it's funny. And it's, as I said, it's pretty relevant to real life because that's pretty much the kind of problems that are taking place in schools nowadays. With the whole, religious holiday problem, with decorations and so forth. So definitely check it out. This is my second time I said so on this special particularly, and it's just as funny back then as it is today. Number 3, Free Hat. Okay, Free Hat. What's this one about exactly? Well, this one is about the boys go to see a re-release of Star Wars, I forget which one exactly, and they see trailers for other films that Spielberg and George Lucas keep re-releasing, but altering with CGI effects and changing words and so forth, and they think they've had enough of that. So yeah, obviously in real life they changed E.T., and they changed the original Star Wars trilogy, which I definitely agree with. The Star Wars original trilogy is ridiculous. With E.T., I didn't think was too bad, but then they decided to start a rally and protest against the film directors, and they're, and then one of their friends has to give out free paper hats, and he's pressured by it, but then most of the people that join the club are misled to believing that they're trying to free a toddler killer named Hat. So, yeah, they're kind of caught up in that and don't want any part of it, but instead they're more or less caught up in trying to keep Spielberg and Lucas from altering their movies, which they are not fully amused by. So, the ending is hilarious. It has a great parody of one of the classic Spielberg movies. I'm not going to give too much away, but it is funny as hell. Trust me. Number 2. Make Love, Not Warcraft. Okay, I don't have to explain much more on this one. Warcraft? Yeah, it's obviously about World of Warcraft, and everybody seems to obsess over this episode, and it is just as funny as ever. I still watch it so many times, it's great. Yeah, it's obviously about the boys who play World of Warcraft, which I was never really a big fan of, and yes, I know there's a movie obviously coming out about it. And so, yeah, they play World of Warcraft, and they realize there's some guy who goes online and kills them even without challenging them to duel, which is against the rules, but they try to stop him, and it's pretty much a futile attempt so many times, no matter how many times they try, and so they're pretty much driven to their limits and try as hard as hell to try to stop this guy and get him off there. So, not much to say there, it's just as funny and amusing as ever. And the number 1 best South Park episode, I think, in my list, in my opinion, okay, this is just my opinion, people, Black Friday. Alright, I don't have to say much about this one. Black Friday is just insane. And this episode pretty much proves it, how insane people are to line up and get anything discounted on Black Friday. I never partake on Black Friday, believe me. It's just as... people are just as inhuman as ever, and I think anybody can agree with me on that one. And, of course, this was just before... this was Xbox One and PS4 were just about to release, and the boys want to get one. Well, most of them want to get Xbox One, and then, of course, a few kids divide up and draw the line between who wants Xbox One and PS4. So this is pretty much the whole Black Friday / console war scenario in this episode. So, yeah, Team Cartman wants Xbox One, Team Stan wants PS4. So, and of course they realize that the first 30 people in the mall get 80% off. I don't know how the hell that works. How do they know who the first 30 people are? That's my only question. And of course Stan's dad takes a mall cop job on Black Friday just to get in before everybody else does, when he's pretty much inside the whole time to get everything, discounted. So, yeah, it's just as funny as ever. And, well, I shouldn't say much, but may not be a, straight up winner, but just watch the episode for yourself and, well, enjoy it. So, that's my list for what I think the best South Park episodes are. Until next time, thanks for watching.